Hello, I'm reviewing 2006 Casino Royale. Daniel Craig's first James Bond movie. This is Daniel Craig's first outing as James Bond. And I give this a 7 out of 10 for being mediocre, average at best. I like the action in the movie. The movie was phenomenally well directed with all the action in the movie. I'm talking about the positive stuff first. I like the action. I like the action a lot. All the practical action, all the action in the movie. All the people that die in the movie by the hands of Wrath of Bond. I love all that. Daniel Craig's great in the action movies. He's a good action star. And the action roles like these, seeing him take on, he's good at his action roles. And I just wish his Bond wasn't so, what's the word? He feels like Jason Bourne, except without the amnesia. So he feels like the 2016 Bourne. That's what Daniel Craig's movie, take on Bond in his first outing feels like. He feels like the blandest, unsexiest spy version of a spy possible ever imagined brought to the big screen. He's taken the sexiness out of Spy and bringing the bleak and depressing reality into the spy world genre with his take on Bond by sucking all the fun and iconic stuff out of him due to his brilliant deconstructing vision on Bond, James Bond. Starring Daniel Craig in the 2006 Casino Royale in this movie. In this movie, you'll see him barely touch a martini, and that would be the only thing he drinks in the movie when he does take a drink. So those character traits of Bond being a functioning alcoholic, that was previous and but that was very common in the past Bond reincarnations before Daniel Craig's, is now absent from Daniel Craig's version, because, you know, they can't make Bond an alcoholic because, but they will make him drink out, they will let him drink up, then now he is a moderate drinker. Drinks in moderation, I guess, except when he's, I guess, when this James Bond is also doesn't have a problem with alcohol doesn't consume a lot of alcohol, and he does not have he doesn't have, the past Bonds had him like chased after, the past Bonds would chase after women and flirt with women and basically hit on women. But don't worry, we don't get to see any of that except for one girl only role it's been reduced to. Him flirting with women and basically having a love interest only to lose that love interest. It's like one of those stories. So basically, it's like, it kind of feels like, Daniel Craig's Bond feels a lot like George Lazenby's Bond, the second Bond, which is many people consider the worst Bond. George Lazenby's Bond, the second person to play Bond after Connery gave up the role, retired from Bond, and so. Except I think George Lazenby's James Bond is a much more interesting character and memorable in terms of being spontaneous as Bond and iconic in its own right, his take on Bond. Which before Daniel Craig's Bond, I thought George Lazenby's Bond, James Bond, the second Bond ever played Bond as the actor, after the actor John Connery retired. From the role of Bond. So before Daniel Craig took on the role of James Bond in Casino Royale, I honestly thought George Lazenby was the worst Bond of the James Bonds that played him. I actually thought that George Lazenby was a god-awful one at some point. But I now realize I was being an ungrateful asshole. To George Lazenby's Bond. Because his Bond, I think, is a better Bond than Daniel Craig's Bond. Not that I completely hate Daniel Craig's Bond. I just don't think it's nothing. Well, I guess I don't hate him, I tolerate him. His Bond on screen. I find his Bond tolerable, but not hateable or lovable or iconic in its own right. I just found his Bond tolerable, like the girl who played Alice from Alice in Wonderland, 2010 reimagining, directed by Tim Burton. The girl who plays Alice in that movie. That's how I found him tolerable. Like the chemistry, like the talented actress that played Alice in Alice in Wonderland, 2010 reimagining by Tim Burton, is what I feel like. Daniel Craig's Bond has the amount of bland energy coming off of him, oozing off of his acting skills. Thanks to his talented limited acting skills. Played by Daniel Craig as Bond. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Casino Royale from 2006. I'm not looking forward to reviewing the other ones, talking about them, because I felt like I've seen them all after I've seen one of his performances as James Bond. But that's the thing about Daniel Craig. he overstays his welcome as Bond because it's like, I don't know, I feel like he can't do anything with it. I don't know why. He can't, his version of Bond can't be an iconic version of it. He can't do anything iconic that makes his Bond stand out. Doesn't stand, I will say his Bond's great in the actions that his Bond does is phenomenal. And it's great action and all, but I don't know, I just wish like there was more. Besides this beat by beat, generic, unspontaneous plot film of a spy thriller. This feels like very generic want horseshit. The first Daniel Craig's Bond movie where he plays James Bond from 2006, Casino Royale, feels like that a lot of the times. Feels like it's all off and overstays his welcome, and it takes a while for the movie to get going. Like, okay, after the first opening of the black and white opening scene, that's shot in black and white, where Bond makes his first, one of his first kills to become a 00 and get promoted as a 00. Then he gets promoted, and then he's now a 00, and basically, this Casino Royale is in the Casino Royale, he just got promoted as a 00. By his superiors in this movie for this version of James Bond. Okay? And, after that, after a cool, opening, it kind of slows down a bit. And then eventually it takes the movie. I felt like it just takes a while to. I felt like the movie takes a while to really get going. I felt like. You know, to get interesting, you know? It felt like at times it could have been interesting, but then it could have been interesting, then, but I just felt like this felt like the movie was kind of slow at times. I couldn't really get invested as much as I wanted to, outside of a few great, all of the great action that was shot in the movie. I could get invested in that, but I really couldn't get invested in the story or the characters of this version of Bond, James Bond played by Daniel Craig. And the story that it told was this version of Bond. And so, it's just meh for me. 7 out of 10, average, mediocre at best. I could give this score of a movie. Casino Royale is my final thoughts. 7 out of 10 for average. Mediocre. See it or don't see it, I don't really give a fuck. Okay. Hit the thumbs up to like this video. Check out my older videos. Share my content. Subscribe by hitting the bell button. And hit the subscribe button second to get subscribed. After you get subscribed. Okay, goodbye.